This is the first video that I'm scripting, so, yeah, I've got a script for this video. Okay, this entire video spawned from one thought. Why are some object shows good, and some object shows bad? And, truthfully, I didn't have an answer, but now I think I do. So, here are the 4 things that you need to have a truly masterpiece object show. The more of these things you have, the better the show, generally. I should mention, this is my opinion, and I'm by no means an expert. I'm just saying what I've observed, and trying to help out, trying to help people who want to grow their object show. So, I also try to avoid saying good and bad. I'll try to say pleasing and non-pleasing, because it's art, and art is subjective, of course, but, you can tell when some things are bad. Okay, so first up, we've got visuals. Obviously, visuals is one of them. There's not really a lot to say about what makes visuals pleasing and what makes visuals not pleasing. But object shows with good, pleasing visuals, in my opinion, include BFDI, the entire show, really. Like, even early BFDI has pleasing visuals. Inanimate Insanity, Burner, 1, Animatic Battle, and just about every real mainline object show there is. There's also lesser... Yeah, every object show that is massively popular has good visuals, and that's why I think visuals is the most important. It's because people are going to click on it, and if the visuals aren't not good, they're going to click off, right? That's just how it is. Even shows that I hate with all of my heart have have pleasing visuals, like Object Terror, and, yeah, there aren't really... I don't want to call anyone out for having non-pleasing visuals, but, like, early episodes of II, early episodes of Inanimate Fight Out, as well as even my own show, Contest for Omnipotence, my first show, and to an extent, Object Idiocy as well, probably don't have the most easy on the eye visuals. Anyway, next factor is writing. Now, I classify writing as the interactions that characters have between each other. So, for example, in a real serious show, are the interactions accurate and in character? Like, is that how they would behave? But for a comedy show, are the interactions funny? Writing, while being less important than visuals, is still a major factor and can kill any object show that doesn't utilize it well. Examples of pleasing writing, to me, are Inanimate Insanity, from late Season 1 and onward, BFDI, mid-Season 1 and onward, Object Lockout, and, of course, 1. I don't really have much else to say about writing, and I don't want to call anyone out for having bad or non-pleasing writing, because that's just mean. But I can think of examples. Next up is story, and you may ask, what's the difference between writing and story? And I'll tell you, writing is how characters interact, and story is what happens to the characters. What situations are the characters placed in? Now, story is much easier with contestant vote shows such as Inanimate Insanity or Object Lockout. Not Object Lockout. Well, yes, Object Lockout, but also Object Overload. And with shows that don't have voting, such as 1 and Modern Objects. But it is possible. Story is possible, if just a little bit harder with viewer voting shows, because you might have one plan for a contestant, but then they get kicked out, and you're like, okay, can't do that anymore. So for story with contestant voting shows, I'd go episode by episode, and maybe use previous eliminations as grounding points for them. Yeah. Anyway, examples of pleasing story are, well, Inanimate Insanity, Object Overload, Modern Objects, 1, the ones I listed before. And here's what I personally find to be a aspect that is overlooked, and that a lot of modern object shows surprisingly fail in, and that is cast. This is the longest one I've got, by the way, so I had a lot to say about cast. Now, for me, cast is, the characters in the show. For cast, there are two major factors within the factor itself. And I might make a separate video breaking those down in more detail, but anyway. The first one is memorability. Is it easy to remember every character and what makes them unique? Shows with huge casts like BFB and an animatic battle fail in this regard because it's very difficult to memorize 64 characters and also difficult on the writers to give 64 characters all unique personalities that are memorable, notable, and interesting, and then it's also hard to let any of them shine because you're splitting the screen time between such a large amount of characters. Anyway, moving on. That's memorability. The other one is slightly less important, but still pretty crucial, and it's sort of, I don't know how to word it, but it's in a single word, but it's, can you tell what it is at a glance? BFB does really well in this regard. Match is a match, snowball is a snowball, etc. Now, to be fair, they did have the first come, first serve advantage, but there are lots of popular object shows like Animatic Battle that kind of fail because they're trying to have characters that are completely unique and that no one has done before, and in an effort to do that, they need really obscure objects, and so it's kind of hard to remember what they all are. In my opinion, you can have a fire character as long as they don't look and act exactly like Fiery from BFDI. You can have a knife character as long as they don't look and act like Knife from Inanimate Insanity. Anyway. Yeah, those are the 4 tips that I think are helpful to make a good object show. Boy, I sure went on a bit of a rant back there, huh? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, or don't. Also, tell me what you agree with and what you disagree with. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And remember, be respectful. I don't want any arguments starting in the comments. Yeah, that's about all for this video. See you around.